I'm confident that we've all had colleagues at some point in our career who have injected drama into a specific situation. They are the ones that we call the masters of the blame game. Their negative energy is draining. Today I want to offer you a simple tool that you can leverage the next time you catch yourself getting annoyed or frustrated with someone because of something they did or something they didn't do. I want you to consider how many times over the last couple of weeks even that you let the dynamics of a specific situation make you angry. Maybe it's something someone said, something they did, or something they failed to do. Think about how that specific situation completely pissed you off. Notice how consumed you became by it and how difficult it was to actually let it go. Without realizing it, the situation was probably all you could think about. That's what I refer to as an energy leak. We've all been there. I trust that you know exactly what that feels like, that feeling of being exhausted by certain circumstances that just drain your energy. So the question is this: what do you do when those situations occur? Situations that, despite your greatest intention, you have one of those what I call human moments and you let others hijack your energy. Notice what I just said. You let others hijack your energy. See, others don't steal our energy, we allow them to. Today I want to share with you a simple tool that I give all my clients, a tool that we constantly refer back to and leverage when someone or something happens to drain our energy. And if you follow my work, you'll often hear me speak about this tool a lot. In fact, I discuss this in depth in my book, Freedom to Experiment, How to Ignite a New Level of Energy, Focus, and Momentum in Yourself and Your Team. The link is in the description if you want a free copy. Right now, I want to help you get yourself out of an energy leak if for some unknown reason you find yourself caught up in one. And I also want to help you avoid getting hooked by the drama in the first place. Let's start with the avoidance side of an energy leak. See, the first question you have to ask yourself is this: what causes you to leak in energy? What causes you to leak energy? See, consider the events or situations that trigger your anxiety, trigger your frustration, trigger your fears, your anger, whatever it is. And to help you with this, I encourage you to just make a trigger, what I call a trigger list. Like, trust me, I did this years ago, and it's been extremely powerful. Simply get out a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, write business triggers on the top, and on the right-hand side, write personal triggers. And then start to just bullet out a list of those situations or individuals, right, that cause you to leak energy in both your business and your personal world. For example, a business trigger might be fear of losing a client, a job, screwing up a project. Other business triggers could be people insinuating you did something wrong or feeling like maybe you're interrogated by others. Maybe when someone judges your decisions or micromanages your tasks. For me, one of my business triggers is when others delay important decisions or keep pushing trouble out. When I see someone like kick the can, it frustrates the hell out of me. Other ones that get me big time is when I see someone manipulating someone else or when a coworker takes advantage of a situation. I want you to make a list of all the business triggers that cause you to lose energy. Do the same thing on the right side from a personal perspective. Do you have a family member, we all do, right, who drains your energy big time? Maybe they're always making some unreasonable demands of you or your time. Maybe you have a fear of disappointing somebody. Maybe you get triggered when you see a loved one that you care about struggling and you offer your help and they reject your help. For me, I know I personally get triggered when my self-care is down, when I'm tired and I have a lot on my plate. I become vulnerable for that. Right? I also hate being late for anything. So for me, getting stuck in traffic is a great example of a personal trigger I've been working on for years. Okay, let's zoom out for a second. Why am I asking you to do this? Because everything starts with what I call our awareness. If you want to avoid an energy leak, you have to become aware of what causes them in the first place. See, the simple practice of making a list of triggers raises our awareness to them, which allows you to become more in control mentally when they actually occur. See, this is about retraining our mind, having the discipline to recognize the crazy stories we have and going on in our head. We keep convincing ourselves it's true, and then having the discipline to reframe the conversation in our head into something that's more helpful. I encourage you to make a list of those things that trigger you both personally and from a business perspective. Give yourself the freedom to experiment with this. No one's looking at it but you. Trust me, this simple exercise is eye-opening. I have an Evernote file on all my business triggers and all my personal triggers. And looking at that list raises my awareness to them, which allows me to reframe the conversation in my head when I find myself getting hooked by one. That brings me to the second part, which is how do you unhook from a situation when you find yourself having one of those human moments that I was talking about earlier. My favorite tool for this is what I call catch and release. See, here's the simple truth. Shit happens, right? And typically, when you least expect it, that's just called life. As growth champions, we must learn to become more Teflon. Having the fortitude to overcome adversity is, in fact, a necessary leadership skill. The more you focus on and remain hooked by someone else's behavior, guess what? The more limited the possibilities to change the situation become. Here's how catch and release works. You have to first catch yourself being hooked by the emotional drama of the specific situation. And the only way you can do that is if you built what I call a strong awareness muscle. I often talk about awareness muscle, and if you ask any one of my clients, they will tell you how important building an awareness muscle is. The first step to disentangling yourself from negative emotions is to admit that you have them in the first place, which is the purpose of the trigger exercise I mentioned earlier. When your awareness muscle is strong enough to catch yourself getting angry and upset, you become aware of what triggers that reaction and prevents you actually just from showing up and being the leader you aspire to be. But the cool part is that once you catch yourself losing energy, the next step is to release it. And the moment you witness your behavior, what ends up happening is you begin to create distance from the behavior that you just exhibited. See, most of the drama takes place in our own heads. And it's usually because we're too deeply immersed in the situation to recognize that it isn't as bad as it appears to be. And the moment you step above the noise and the details, even for a brief second, that allows you to create the space that I'm referring to. And that space allows you to re-examine and refocus on the things that you can control. See, when you choose to let go of what doesn't serve you anymore, you become more Teflon and able to concentrate in the present moment. Catch and release. This is a wicked simple tool, and it's easy to remember. It's something that I use all the time, my clients use. Putting into practice, though, I gotta tell you, is a lot harder. It requires discipline. It requires awareness. Awareness and discipline are, in fact, two important skills that every leader needs to develop. Don't worry about mastering this overnight. See, mastery doesn't work that way. Mastery requires practice. Give yourself the freedom to experiment with what I just mentioned. This may sound like a huge task, but you know what? It really isn't. The truth is this. You're going to have human moments that you're not proud of, right? That's just a fact of life. The key is, what do you do when they occur? Are you going to stay hooked in the drama of a situation that drains your energy, or are you going to become more Teflon? Remember this. You are not responsible for the actions of others. You are only responsible for yourself. Whatever people do, feel, think, or say, don't take it personally. When others say something you don't like, the typical human reaction is to try to defend ourselves, to correct them, or to prove ourselves right and them wrong. That in itself causes an enormous energy leak. Conversely, an enormous amount of freedom develops when you become immune to negative energy. See, you can't control what others do or fail to do. The only action that any leader, any one of us, control in any circumstances is if you choose to react or respond to the situation at hand. Depending upon your choice, that choice affects the outcome one way or the other. Don't believe me, right? I want you to experience this for yourself. Catch yourself becoming hooked by taking something someone said or did personally, and then just practice releasing it. Work on developing the skill to rise above the details. Retrain your mind to focus on those things that you can control. Like a fisherman, you can practice catch and release. Okay, if you want To ignite a new level of energy, focus, and momentum in yourself and your team, I invite you to get a free signed copy of my book, Freedom to Experiment. Follow the link in the description if you're interested, and we'll get you one. All right, if you like this video, do me a favor, right? Give it a thumbs up, right? Share a comment below, maybe related to you or your experience, right? And of course, subscribe, because each week I'm sharing content to help you and your team embrace change, focus your efforts, and accelerate results. We'll talk to you soon.